All right. Um, Welcome everybody. This is Fantasy NBA Tonight Live. I'm the host usually on Thursdays, Frank. Usually I'm joined by Jake. Jake's not couldn't make it, so I got the homie Adrian to help out. What's up, Age?
What up, Frank? Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, it's always good when we can do a show together.
I'm always excited to talk hoops. You gotta bear with me, my throat's a little jacked up.
Yeah, so tonight's not that busy of a night. We got 5 games up. Um, if people are in here, shoot us your questions. We'll answer them as best as possible. And I'm gonna get started in the Pistons Magic game. And the Magic won 102 to 89. And let's start on the Detroit side of things. Drummond had a big game. He went for 17 points, 18 rebounds, 3 blocks, 1 steal, 5 assists. He shot 3 or 4 at the free throw line. I think if you're a Drummond owner, you can't ask for a better line than this. 7 to 16 is sub 50%, but he crushed it. And North Carolina alumni Reggie Bullock got 37 minutes, which is kind of big. He was 5 of 7. He had 13 points, 3 assists, and three threes. Tobias had 21, 1 steal, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 threes. He was 8 of 17. Ish Smith, for those of you that picked him up and plugged him in, had 18 points, 1 block, 1 steal, 5 assists, 7 rebounds, and 9 of 18 from the field, which is nice. And Luke Kennard got the start in lieu of Bradley. And Kennard had 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 threes. He only played 20 minutes. Um, let's get into what you see anything in their age.
Yeah, for sure. We got to highlight that game from Ish Smith. If he's still available in your league, make sure he's owned. Reggie Jackson's going to miss the next 6 to 8 weeks. Beautiful game from him tonight. Shot it well, 9 to 18, as you mentioned. Looks really good. One of the other guys that I'm watching in deeper leagues is Reggie Bullock, and he played. He's seeing a nice little bump with Avery Bradley out. He had 37 minutes, 13 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. He added 3 threes. I think this is another guy that needs to be owned in probably 14 teams or deeper. That's about all I got from the Pistons, though.
I find it interesting that Stanley didn't have a good game. He was 2 for 8. He had 8 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 3. But one thing that I do notice is he got 24 minutes. So I feel like Reggie Bullock's taking his job, and I think he's getting the bulk of those small forward minutes. I think Stan Van Gundy likes having a vet out there, and I feel like he scores the ball a little better than Stanley does. And one thing that I did notice is Drummond with the 5 assists. That's awesome.
Yeah, Drummond has really improved his passing game this season. He's just out of nowhere just started dishing the rock and looks really good. I'm really glad that you mentioned Stanley, because one other guy who's been taking some minutes away from him is their rookie, Luke Kennard. Played 20 minutes tonight, had 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 threes. But Frank, I think Stanley Johnson, it's just not happening. I don't know if it's just being on this team or if he's just a bust. I don't know, man.
Stanley's still really young. I feel like he could be tradable. They might look to move him. Detroit's pretty good on the year. If they might want to get a little extra boost and make a move to solidify that roster, get ready for the playoffs. I could see him being a guy they move. For example, now that Detroit is missing a point guard because Reggie Jackson's hurt, if I were the Bulls, I would do something like Jarian Grant for Stanley Johnson, take a gamble on a little bit of upside. Maybe the Bulls could move a point guard over there. I think, not necessarily the Bulls, but I think anybody. Detroit, I think they might be looking to move him.
Yep. Let's take a look at what happened over on the Orlando Magic side. And one guy I wanted to keep an eye out on is Evan Fournier came back, played through his sore foot, had 17 points with 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 threes. It's pretty good. He was playing really good at the beginning of the year, so hopefully he can get back at it. And then, of course, I had my eye on Bismack Biyombo filling in for Vucevic. Had a really nice game tonight. 12 points with 13 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block. His second straight start, and the other night I think he had 5 blocks. So, somebody we know who's going to fill it up in boards, blocks, hopefully help you in field goal percentage as well. So, yeah, those are 2 guys I really wanted to highlight on the Magic side. And then also, too, Aaron Gordon's back. Played 30 minutes tonight, so that's nice to see. 14 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. Shot pretty nice, 6 of 12. Added 2 threes. Frank, your boy, Elfrid Payton, had a nice game tonight. 39 minutes, 19 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. Flirting with the triple-double. Shot well, 6 of 12. Perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line. This is exactly what you want to see from Elfrid Payton. Frank, anything else that stands out on the Magic side?
I feel like Payton's role is changing a little bit with Vooch out. I see the shot attempts going up. I see scoring the ball a little more. It's been a nice bump if you're an Elfrid owner in the last maybe 4 or 5 games. Simmons shot 3 for 13. So if you own him, that's not so hot, but the 4 steals he got you tonight are nice. And I feel like with Gordon coming back, it took all the wind out of Hezonja's sails. Super Mario is 2 for 4. He only had 4 points and 3 rebounds. So it looks like hopefully Hezonja plays better, but this might be the end of his run.
I'm glad you mentioned Super Mario, Frank, because if you were riding the Super Mario train, I think it's time to get off, man. With Fournier back and Aaron Gordon back, I think he's not going to be streamable any longer. But hey, one guy that I did want to point out, this is for you deeper league players. Marreese Speights has been playing pretty good. He had 16 points tonight, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. He added 2 threes. Now, the only thing that scares me, of course, he did that in 15 minutes. So that always kind of is a warning to me that, it's kind of an anomaly for him to have such a great game. But I feel like he's had a few good games. So I'm talking about you deep leaguers. He might be somebody worth playing. Yeah.
Moe Speights has no conscience. In 15 minutes, he took 13 shot attempts, which ties him for the most shot attempts on the Magic tonight.
I love his competitiveness, man. Like, whenever I watch a game that he's playing, he just seems like those guys that they just always get after it. He always wants to win. Super competitive. He's always jarring with the other guys on the team. Just a guy that I'd love to have on my bench for my team.
Yeah. He's got that Hall of Famer confidence, but he doesn't have the Hall of Fame credentials.
Yep. So, Frank, any closing thoughts on this game?
No, let's go over to the next game.
All right. Real quick, leading into let's take a look at the Rockets and the Celtics. And just leading into this game, a couple notes I wanted to mention. Chris Paul is out. Could play Friday versus the Wizards, but he's still out. And then the Rockets signed Gerald Green, Frank. Are you excited about this signing at all?
Yeah, it's a nice piece to have. It's a nice weapon. Gerald Green could go nuts at any time and win you a game in the playoffs or the finals or however far they get.
Nice. Let's get in the box score, Frank. What do you got?
On the Houston side of it, Eric Gordon was 9 of 23, so that's not so great, but he had 4 threes, 24 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. He chucked it up. Anderson, I'm not a huge Anderson fan this season, but I feel like tonight he had one of his better games. He had 9 points, a block, a steal, assist, 8 rebounds, and 2 threes, so that's definitely serviceable. Ariza had 39 points or 39 minutes. He was 3 of 5 from the field. They were all 3-pointers, 11 points, 1 steal, 6 rebounds. So I think that was all right. James Harden had a subpar shooting night. He was 7 of 27, 5 of 15 from 3, but he was perfect from the line. So he was 15 of 15. I think he ended up with 34 points, 2 steals, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, and 5 threes. So even though the shooting was horrendous, you definitely got a full night's work from him. I guess that's the benefit of owning him. And Nene had 19 minutes, 5 and 9, 2 steals, 4 rebounds, 10 points. And off the bench, nothing all that exciting. What do you think, Age?
Yeah, nothing on the bench. One thing I wanted to note was if you own Ryan Anderson, I think you're going to see some nice games from him in the short term, but I think he's a nice sell high guy because he's seeing a nice boost with CP3 out. You also got Emba Amute out in the front court. Capella is out in the front court. So, Ryan Anderson played 40 minutes tonight. If somehow in your league you can maybe target that team that's hurting really bad for threes or something, if you could try to move Ryan Anderson, I think this now or within the next few games is a good time to try to sell high on him. Other thing I wanted to note, as I mentioned, Capella being out, I own a lot of shares of Capella this year, so I'm hoping he can come back and be healthy. And you pretty much touched on everything else, Frank. Let's take a look at the Celtics side real quick. And a guy I want to point out, Jason Tatum, 40 minutes, 19 points, 2 steals, 5 rebounds. Didn't hit a 3 tonight, but shot 9 of 11 from the free throw line. Just having a great season. Not looking like a rookie at all. Could end this year as one of the most efficient rookies of all time, which is just crazy. Kyrie Irving is playing really good, 26 points. The 6 turnovers kind of hurt, but 2 steals, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 7 to 8 from the line. He added a 3. That's not bad. Marcus Smart had a pretty good game, 13 points, 3 blocks, 2 steals. You love those defensive stats. 5 assists, 6 rebounds. Shot it okay, 6 of 14 for him. Horford had a real quiet night. Only 9 points, is not a block, 4 assists, 8 rebounds. So that was kind of strange to see from him. Frank, what do you think of the Celtics?
Horford hit the game winner, so good for him. And it was nice. Smart put up a nice line. Too bad he doesn't do that all the time, but he's got the potential to do it all the time. The 3 blocks and the 2 steals, those are always a bonus. Another guy that I've been keeping my eye on is Rozier. And Rozier had 20 minutes tonight. He was 5 of 8, 2 threes, 13 points, 2 steals, and assists, and 5 rebounds. I feel like Rozier's coming on a little bit. He's a guy I would watch if you're in a deeper league, definitely.
Yeah, and one other thing that I want to note from this game is Jaylen Brown is out with an injury right now. Sounds like it's going to be a short-term thing, but with him out, maybe Marcus Morris is going to have some extended value for the short term. He only played 19 minutes tonight. He didn't have a great game. 10 points, 4 rebounds is okay in 19 minutes, but just something I wanted to point out there. Don't really have anything else for this game.
Let's go to the next one.
Let's do it. Let's talk about the Timberwolves and the Bucks. And going into this game, just want to mention that Tyus Jones was starting for Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague had a knee injury the other night. It looked really bad, and it sounds like he's only going to miss 2 to 4 weeks. So you dodged a bullet if you're a Jeff Teague owner, because that at one point looked like it could be a season ender. So I was able to pick up Tyus Jones in our league, Frank. I'm going to stream him for the next month and see how it goes. Frank, let's get into the box score.
I think you're going to get a big old boost in steals with streaming Jones. He's insane. He's not very long, and he's not very athletic. So he's elite in steals, and it's just basketball IQ, I feel. That's it.
Yeah, you mentioned we had talked off air, and you had mentioned to me that he was going to be a steal monster. And tonight, we saw it tonight, 5 steals. Didn't have a super good line. Only shot 2 of 5. Missed both of his 3-pointers that he took. But 6 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Like I said, those 5 steals, man, I love that. So, and I hope he starts shooting it a little bit better because, earlier in the season when Jeff Teague mistimed, he put up some really nice games. So, I hope he can just be good in the short term. What else was going on?
Going through the rest, Jimmy Butler was 6 of 16, 1 of 6 from 3. He didn't shoot it that great. He had 20 points, 2 steals, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. He was perfect 7 of 7 from the free throw line. So I think you'll take that line. The 6 of 16 isn't so hot, but that'll happen from time to time. Owning Jimmy. Keeps chugging along, 39 minutes, 5 of 7, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 1 block. Nothing spectacular, but he continues to be a really solid play. Outproducing my expectations for him. I think we both thought Ding would be more of a factor, but it's a Gibson show, power forward. Your boy Towns had a big night. He went 8 of 12 from the field. He ate 4 threes, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal and a block, and 22 points. I think you would like to see the rebounds a little bit higher, but that's still a nice line. And Wiggins was 7 of 14 with 4 threes. That's pretty big for him. He had 3 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. He had 21 points. I think if you're a Wiggins owner, that's one of his better games. And old man Crawford, 26 minutes, 4 of 13. Not too much.
I'm really glad that you brought up Jamal Crawford because I was kind of curious when Jeff Teague went down. We could see Jamal Crawford kind of play some point guard for this team. So play 26 minutes. Had an okay game tonight, but he's someone I got my eye on in deeper leagues because I think he could get a lot of minutes at the point guard spot. So just something to note there. Frank, any closing thoughts on the Timberwolves?
No, let's go do Milwaukee.
All right. From Milwaukee's side, we got Bledsoe was nice. Hit 8 of 15, 2 threes, 26 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. He himself got 5 steals, looking pretty good. John Henson had a pretty good game. 14 points, 4 boards, a steal, played 28 minutes. He didn't have a block, and that's kind of a bummer because you're hoping to get blocks from Henson. And Middleton just continues to be solid. 14 points, 1 steal, 4 assists, 7 boards, 2 threes. Perfect from the line, 2 for 2. Not a bad game there. Frank, anything else to note from the Bucks?
I feel like it's the usual suspects in Milwaukee. It'll be Middleton, Giannis, Bledsoe, Henson, and Brogdon. I think those are the guys that drive their production mostly. Tonight, Giannis had 22 points, 3 assists, 10 rebounds. He had a decent night. And Milwaukee got the win tonight. So there goes the Timberwolves 5-game winning streak. And we'll see. We'll see if the Bucks can turn it around. I'm not a huge Jason Kidd fan, and I think they're underperforming due to expectations. But they could get hot. There's a lot of season left. How do you feel about their outlook rest of the way?
For the Bucks,
Yeah.
I think they're going to be fine. I think they'll be good. I don't think they're good enough to contend with Boston and with Cleveland, and Toronto's also looked really good. I don't think they're in that tier, but they'll definitely make the playoffs, and they'll definitely I think they'll get better as the season goes on. I mean, keep in mind, this is still a young team. This is still a new team. They just added Eric Bledsoe in the middle of the season. They may not be done making moves as well. There's a lot of rumors they could go after a guy like DeAndre Jordan. So one thing I'd like to note about this game is the Bucks were down 20 points at one point and came back to win 102-96. So that shows a lot of heart on their side. And I think the Bucks are going to be okay, Frank.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they make a trade like you said. You mentioned DeAndre Jordan, and I had also heard that they're interested maybe in a JaVale McGee situation. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. Let's move on. We're just running through these games. We only got 2 more. Kind of a light night tonight. Let's take a look at the Knicks and Spurs. And one pregame note that I had was Kawhi Leonard was going to be rested for this one. It's the second time in a week that Leonard will be rested. Let's get into the box score, Frank. What do you got?
San Antonio won this one, 119-107. The Knicks put up some points. Looks like they put up some fight, but San Antonio is just a machine. On the New York Knicks side of it, Courtney Lee still chugging along. He played 39 minutes, which is a lot. He's not the youngest guy, but he was 7 of 14. He had 2 threes, 2 rebounds, and assists, a steal, and 18 points. Porzingis had 18 points, 6 blocks. You'll take that all day, every day. And he had an assist, 7 rebounds, 1 3. The 6 of 16 isn't so great. Jared Jack had 30 minutes. He had 8 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. He shot 3 of 12, so that was terrible. And Cantor, this is interesting. Cantor played 17 minutes tonight. He had 12 points, 6 rebounds, and shot at 5 or 10. He wasn't in foul trouble, and he didn't play very many minutes, so maybe that's something to watch. Thomas doesn't really ever do anything, so he's par for the course tonight. And my boy, Super Cool Bees, had himself a good night. He played 32 minutes. He was 9 of 13. He had 23 points. And he had 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. And Nick Lakina, somebody that I'm watching, actually I just dropped him. He had 9 points, 3 steals. The 11 assists are big. He shot at 4 of 11 with 1 3. But the 32 minutes he got tonight are nice.
Yeah, he's someone I got my eye on for the second half of the season. So, if he can play this many minutes going forward, he's definitely someone worth picking up, I think. And then it was interesting that you noted Enes Kanter only getting 17 minutes. I heard some buzz that the Knicks could give more run to a guy like Hernan Gomez down the stretch. So it's an interesting thing to keep your eye on to see if Cantor's been playing really good. So I wasn't really too worried about him. But if this continues, this will not be good for Cantor. And
I feel like if the Knicks don't win games and they start losing, moving Cantor is a possibility. He is a contract year. He could walk at the end of the season. Maybe you get a piece for him, and you've got a kid on the bench in Hernan Gomez that probably should play.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, going into this year, we thought Willie Hernan Gomez was going to be a larger part of this rotation. We thought he was going to have a larger role on this team, and he got a DNP-CD tonight. So, anyways, just something to keep your eye out. Now, Cantor's played really well. So, and he's actually fit really nicely next to Porzingis. So I'm not too concerned, but just something that I'm keeping my eye out.
The Knicks are 17 and 18, so they're just below 500. So they're right on that cusp where their season could go either way. We'll see how they start playing when Hardaway Jr. comes back. What were you going to say, Age?
Just wanted to note that Hardaway Jr. has started jumping. He's ramping up his workout from what I can hear. So I'm still guessing probably 2 weeks, but it's nice to see that he's progressing and that hopefully will get him back soon. Yep. Frank, any closing thoughts on the Knicks?
Super cool bees for president.
Let's take a look at the San Antonio Spurs. And one thing I want to note from this game is Rudy Gay limped to the locker room, and I don't think he returned due to a sore right heel. So if he's forced to miss any time, could be in deep leagues, guys maybe like Kyle Anderson or Brandon Paul maybe could become viable, but I'm not rushing to pick up those guys. And then LaMarcus Aldridge just continues to roll. 25 points, 4 assists, 2 blocks, 5 rebounds, 9 of 12 from the line, 8 of 19 from the field. Looking pretty good. Tony Parker, it's nice to see him back. 14 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 of 2 from the line, 6 of 9 from the field. That's pretty nice. Pau Gasol's continuing to play well. 17 points, 7 assists, 11 rebound. Really nice, well-rounded line. Shot 7-11 from the field is pretty good from him. Now, again, keep in mind we had no Kawhi Leonard. So, maybe Aldridge and Pau, they got a little nice usage bump here. Frank, any thoughts on the Spurs?
Anderson was perfect tonight. 4 of 4 from the field and 8 of 8 from the line. Can't ask for better than that. And Danny Green, he played all right. He had 15 points, 2 assists, 5 threes are nice. He only took threes. He took 8 threes and hit 5 of them. And somebody that lit it up in the summer, Bryn Forbes, 26 minutes, maybe something to watch. He had 4 of 9 from the field. He didn't have a great night, but I think they like him. He had 2 threes. Old man Ginobili, 20 minutes. He didn't do very much. And I think that's about it for the Spurs side of it.
Yep. Let's go into only one more game, and it's the Sixers and Blazers. This game's going on right now. I actually got it going on the TV next to me, and your boy Nurkic is battling Embiid right now. It's pretty good. Embiid was questionable coming into this one, but he was good to go. There was some buzz about him possibly resting his back. And then one other pre-note I wanted to make was Damian Lillard. Sounded like he was pretty close, but was ruled out due to his hamstring injury. So we're seeing Shabazz Napier getting the start. And I think Shabazz is a really nice streaming option if you can just pick him up for this game, or for you like DFS players. He's probably really nice. Frank, what do you got in the box score so far? We're still in the second quarter. Actually, 9 seconds left in the second quarter. So it's kind of early, but what do you got in the box score anyway?
For one half of action, the score is pretty close. It's a close game. And I'm going to start on the Philly side. Simmons has 10 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. He's 5 of 12 from the field, so he's just having an okay first half. JJ Redick's 1 for 4. Maybe he'll turn it around. You never know. Shooters get hot. Bob Cove, he only took 2 shots in the first half. I think if you're a Bob Cove owner, you want to see him gunning away to get you those volume numbers and the threes. He took a 3 and made a 3. That's about it. Embiid had 15 points, 1 block, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. He does have 3 threes, and he's 5 of 10 from the field, so he's off to a really good start. I think he might give Nurkic the business tonight. And somebody that's been playing really well, Dario Saric, he had 9 points, 1 steal, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, and he's 4 of 6 from the field with a 3. So I think that's a good first half. And nobody else is really of note except for McConnell. And he had 8 points, 3 steals in 1 half. That's you'll take that all day if you're in a deep league and you own him. He's got 4 assists. He's 4 of 6 from the field. What do you think, H?
I'm glad you mentioned McConnell. I've gotten some questions on Twitter about like, hey, should I drop, someone like Okafor or someone like Greg Monroe to pick up TJ McConnell? And I think one thing we got to remember about McConnell is we're getting Markelle Fultz back eventually, I think. So I think McConnell's really going to drop off if Markelle Fultz ever comes back. And I'd expect Fultz back. If we don't see him in the next 2 weeks or so, I'd be really surprised. So I just wanted to note that. You covered basically everything else. The usual suspects. Yep.
If you're a McConnell owner, you might look. It's a good idea to look to move him or maybe include him in a deal and try to sell before his value is non-existent.
Yep, I agree. Let's take a look at the Portland Trailblazers side. See what's going on over here. McCollum is having a really nice game. We know we mentioned it before on the show that his usage rate jumps up pretty big when Lillard is gone. And in 1 half, he's got 18 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, perfect 4 for 4 from the line. He shot a couple of threes, 6 and 9 from the field. That's a beautiful first half. We mentioned Shabazz Napier, who's filling in for Lillard, not shooting well. He's 0 for 5, 2 assists, so he's not having a good game. And let's see who else. Aminu is 0 for 2. He's not having a great game. Your boy Nurkic, 6 points, 3 rebounds. Maybe having a little trouble with Embiid. He's only 1 for 6, but let's hope he can have a big second half. Not too much on the bench to note. Frank, what are your thoughts on the Trailblazers?
For some of you deep league guys, I'm keeping an eye out on Collins. He's like showing a little noise here and there. He's showing flashes. I think if he gets minutes, he might be part of the rotation in the near future, possibly. And Evan Turner, not so great. I'm not a huge fan. I'm also keeping an eye on Moe Harkless, just because that's kind of a guy I always watch a little bit. It's strange that he's playing so badly this year. You would think that he would revert back to normal, maybe not a as crazy good as he was last season at times, but he should be a playable guy. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on him. You got anything else, H?
Yeah, you and I were really disappointed about Moe Harkless this season because he was someone that you and I are fans of him reality wise. We like his game, and I thought he could really step up and have a bigger role on this team this season. And it's just not happening. And I don't think it's going to happen. I kind of gave up on it. So that's all I got, man.
I don't understand why a guy like Evan Turner's getting minutes over Moe Harkless. Like, Evan Turner plays his best basketball when the ball's in his hand. So I don't see why he isn't coming off the bench and leading the bench, because with the starters, you got Lillard and McCollum, and you got to feed Nurkic. So I think, like, if I were the Blazers, I would probably go Lillard, McCollum, Harkless, Aminu, and Nurkic. But we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with you. Frank, that's all I got, man. We just went through all the games. I can't think of any more news for today. Check back in to the show tomorrow. We got Dan Durrett with Eric Ong. We got a pretty busy 9-game slate for tomorrow. Some really nice matchups. Frank, your Bulls versus the Pacers. I'm really looking forward to that one. Frank, what about you? What do you got?
I am leaving. I'm going to Mexico.
Nice, man. Nice. I'll be filling in for you next week while you're gone. I hope you have a good trip. I'm gonna be going up to Big Bear just for the weekend. I don't think my kids have ever seen the snow. And to be honest with you, I don't think they will this time either. I don't even know if there's any snow up there. So, but yeah, man, I hope you have a good trip. Awesome.
If you need to do me a favor, if there is snow and they've never seen it, like, don't even warn them. Like, just throw them into it.
Yeah, that will be I'm sure my wife will love that, man. She's so overprotective of these kids, it's crazy. But yeah, no, it'll be nice just to get away. But yeah, so tomorrow we'll have Dan Durrett and Eric Ong on. Nice, really nice lineup of games. So tune back in tomorrow, and then Frank will be or you'll be gone next week, but I'll be back at it next week. You guys, thanks for listening and supporting the show. Hit me up at Twitter at Adrian Benjamins. I would love to hear from you guys and answer any questions, whatever you guys got. Frank, thank you so much for having me, brother.
Yeah, thanks for helping me out tonight. And hit me up at Frank Leiva 10, and look forward to doing this again. So have a good week next week. See you later. And thanks everybody for watching. We're out.